Welcome to New Independence Network. This is Brett Hightower back for our third update today. There's so much to talk about. I'm trying to break it up into smaller videos so you have a little more time to listen and it's not 2-3 hours of me constantly talking. Believe me, I could do that. I really could. So, a third part of our update today that we wanted to discuss. This is a continuation on the Jussie Smollett attack, quote-unquote, that we reported on yesterday. Just a refresher, if you recall, Jussie Smollett, actor from the TV show, Fox TV show Empire, he was out getting a Subway sandwich, and he, in Chicago, at 2 o'clock in the morning, back on January 26th. And he was attacked, January 29th. And he was attacked, allegedly, by two white men wearing ski masks and MAGA hats. And they beat him up, poured bleach on his face, and said, "This is MAGA country." That's what he said. Beat him up, said, "This is MAGA country," and called him a slur for a homosexual. And then, that was it. So, 2 o'clock in the morning in central downtown Chicago, heavily black populated and incredibly dangerous downtown Chicago, they said that he was attacked by these gentlemen at 2 o'clock in the morning. Rednecks, white rednecks, he called them. So, looking at the timeline, I'm looking at the timeline here on dailymail.com. According to this, 12:30 a.m., the neighbors claims to see two suspicious men, one with a rope, outside of the Smollett's apartment building. Smollett is filmed on surveillance camera leaving the subway. Now, the police watched over 1,000 hours of surveillance footage and never saw any white men, saw two men in the video with Smollett. Then Smollett leaves the frame, leaves the camera, comes up, is picked up on another camera about a minute later, and he's got a rope hanging around his neck. So there's no video footage of him actually getting beaten up. No video footage of somebody putting a rope around his neck. It's kind of strange that two white men wearing MAGA caps would happen to be carrying a bottle of bleach and a rope tied like a noose in Chicago at 2 a.m. Little strange. Not something you see every day, so it made it hard to believe. But here's some more information. 2 a.m. after he was filmed on the surveillance camera leaving the subway, sometime in the next few minutes he is attacked by the men as he talked on the phone with his manager, Brandon Z. Moore. Now, the police, they wanted his phone records and Smollett would not turn those over. So I think they were going to subpoena them, and then he gave some over, but he only gave up some of them and didn't give over all of them, which made it suspicious. Then he's picked back up by a surveillance camera entering his apartment building after the attack. 2:35 a.m., Frank Gatson, a friend of his who was in his apartment, insists that they call the police. So apparently he went in and told the information to his friend that he was beaten up. 2:42, police arrive at the actor's apartment, find him still wearing the rope that the attackers placed around his neck. So I misspoke yesterday. I'm looking at the actual timeline now. He didn't go to the police directly. He went home, and for 42 minutes, he either A, sat there for 42 minutes with the rope around his neck, so he got beat up, walked home, don't know how far that was, went in, talked to his friend, and wore the rope around his neck the entire time, or took it off and then, before the cop showed up, put the rope back around his neck. That's interesting. If someone put a rope around my neck, I would take it off immediately. And it says here, the rope is not fastened in a noose, and it is slack. So there wasn't even a noose. It was just a loose piece of rope around his neck. Well, that's strange. So their intention was to just drape a rope over the shoulders around the neck of a black man when they attacked him. I find that strange. I find that kind of odd. It's a different tactic if you're going to pretend to lynch somebody, but it just, the details keep adding up. So Smollett takes himself to the hospital after he talks to the police. January 30th, the Chicago PD releases surveillance footage of persons of interest seen near the area of the attack at around the same time. Smollett's castmates lead tributes to him and condemnations of the incident. So they're going all over, and his manager calls Variety and tells them they were on the phone at the time of the attack, and he heard what the attackers said. So now we have confirmation. Oh, I heard it because I was on the phone, but they wouldn't turn over the phone records. But I heard it. I heard him say it, so let's get some press. And of course, everyone's picking it up. As we discussed this yesterday, all of the racists are out there going, oh, this is just, they're automatically assuming that this is a true story and that white people are just racist. And not just white people, white Republicans, Trump supporters are racist. That has to be the case. That has to be. They have to believe it. And all these Halle Berry and Viola Davis and over, they were absolutely beside themselves, blaming white Republicans, how racist they were and how bad we were, when they don't have the facts. So the facts continue to present themselves. January 31st, President Trump came out and did what he's supposed to do, and he condemned the attack as horrible. I would have said nothing until we had the facts. In a knee-jerk culture, you have to do that. Sadly, I probably would have said, if this happened the way it was said, that's a horrible thing and it should never happen. Let's wait for the facts. Or just say nothing because we don't know the facts. And then you have to backtrack and you look as dumb as everybody else who was jumping to conclusions. February 1st, Smollett's family speaks out, labels the attack a hate crime. So there we go. Hate crime because they attacked a black man and there were allegedly white men doing it. Fine. Smollett breaks the silence the same day with his own statement slamming misinformation about the attack. Misinformation. February 2nd, a defiant Smollett plays a sold-out show at the Troubadour in Los Angeles. Oh, so he actually had a performance coming up, and he got a lot of free press for that. So, of course, he's going to have a sold-out show. How about that? How convenient. He just happens to be attacked a few days before, like a week before his show. Interesting. Okay, February 5th, Chicago PD released the incident report, which reveals Smollett did not want to call the police. There was no mention of the MAGA country remark, which he gave in a follow-up interview. Interesting. So I guess he had some time to figure that one out, to come up with the "this is MAGA country" line. Yeah, let's say MAGA country. Let's say it's Trump people. That'll get him on my side. Brandon Z. Moore, his manager, gives the police a screenshot to prove that they were talking. Great. So why not turn over the phone records? Oh, wait a second. We'll find out why. February 11th, Smollett finally hands over redacted phone records to prove the phone call, but police label them insufficient. His neighbors say they don't believe the version of events. Now things are starting to unravel, and why wouldn't he give them the full phone conversation? Maybe because the attack wasn't on the call? February 12th, Smollett's rep released a statement to say he is the victim and that he's been telling the truth. Why would you have to say you're telling the truth if you're telling the truth? Unless your story is beginning to unravel. February 13th, Good Morning America teases an interview with Smollett crying. Police say there are no further inquiries. And then February 14th, Smollett's full interview is aired between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. At 9:40 a.m. on the 14th, police announced they have ID'd the people in the video. Also, as I reported yesterday, the police broke into a home to seize a bunch of evidence. And the evidence was 4 bottles of bleach, a piece of, what does that say? Pesticide, and there's names on them. Piece of I can't even read the word. Piece of residence, and it says 2 names on there. There are 2 names written. Acabina and Arambola or something like that. And there's Nike shoes, 4 bottles of bleach in someone's apartment. There's a lot of things seized, red hats. So they seized those from 2 gentlemen. And the 2 gentlemen, those are the names of the 2 gentlemen, Acabona and Arambo. They were people from apparently Jamaica or somewhere around there. Well, it comes out that the 2 gentlemen, Abimbola and Alabinjo Osundero, are brothers that were being held to be questioned. They're from Nigeria, not Jamaica, from Nigeria. 2 black gentlemen who were arrested to be questioned regarding the attack on Smollett. In addition, those gentlemen happened to be extras on the show Empire. So now you have Jussie Smollett, who said he was attacked by 2 white men wearing MAGA caps. White rednecks wearing MAGA caps at 2 a.m. in downtown Chicago. But there are no white rednecks with MAGA caps on the security footage of the 1,000 hours of security footage. There's no footage of the attack. They won't provide the phone records with any kind of information or noise or sounds from the attack. In fact, they redact that information. And now you have 2 people who they believe were part of the attack. And they took the rope from Smollett, and the police, which wasn't reported yet, but I know they were doing it because they did say they were, but the findings haven't been reported. They were tracing the rope to see from where it was purchased. Oh, you can do that. I forgot, guys. You got a rope. You got to find out where it was purchased, from where it was purchased. So, if these 2 gentlemen from Nigeria are the attackers, then that's really the best blackface makeup I've ever seen in my entire life. Because those 2 white rednecks are passing themselves off to be 2 black Nigerian men. Interesting. Also, it comes out, and I mentioned this yesterday, that Smollett was going to be written off the show. So if he was going to get written off the show, what a better way to stay on a show than to create a false media storm to get public sentiment on your side, and then people appealing to the show say, you can't get rid of him, he's been through so much, he's a hero, he was the victim of a hate crime. And then the show would say, yeah, maybe we should change things and not write him off. Well, it looks to me like the only hate crime that occurred here was one that was created by or committed by Jussie Smollett. He blamed 2 white rednecks. Redneck itself is a racist term. He said they were wearing MAGA hats and said, this is MAGA country, which I've never once heard at any Trump rally or heard anyone say who's a Trump supporter. Doesn't mean no one would say it, but it seems pretty made up, especially since he didn't tell it to the police in the first report. So there's your hate crime. That is a false attack. That's Tawana Brawley almost all over again, except for it didn't involve false rape. It involved a false attack. It's made up by Smollett to, what this does is it increases the chance of violence against white men, white Republicans, and Trump supporters. That's all it does, is inflames the chance of violence against those people. That is a criminal. You've wasted police resources, and it makes them look like an absolute fool. But that's where we stand. This is where we are, folks. These are the Democrats. This is where they are. They couldn't beat Trump in an election, so they make up a story about false Russia collusion. They can't win. If they can't get a job, they cry racism. If they can't win an award, they cry racism. And they can't even have an attack. They can't. They have to use an attack, a made-up attack, to salvage their career or to further their political agenda. I mean, it's not like the 3 black kids who were beating up on the mentally handicapped white kid in Chicago that was recorded and put online. Yeah, that got a murmur. You know, the conservative radio, the TV and internet talked about it. But the left-wing propaganda media? No. We can't talk about that because the black Democrats are innocent little lambs, are harmless little balls of fluff. They're just so misunderstood, and they've been through so much, so we can't say anything bad about them. We can't call them out on their BS. The fact of the matter is this is what Smollett did. He made it up, and he found it easy to accuse white Republicans, white Trump supporters, and the left-wing media and all the racist black celebrities and the other white guilt, white-hating, self-hating white celebrities like Ariana Grande and the rest, Andy Cohen, you name it, they all said, well, it's terrible and we have to believe him because this is what the Trump supporters are, but this is what the media has done. They've created a story. The Democrat propaganda media has created a narrative to make people think that Trump supporters are all racist, that Donald Trump is racist. This is what they do. They can't win, so they have to try to find a way to make up stories in hopes that they'll win a different way. Well, it's not going to work. We're on to it now. This is the information age. How many times have we heard of stories about hate crimes, like the woman in New Jersey recently who they wrote, speak English, get out of our country, something on the back of her receipt. They said her customer wrote that on the back of her receipt. Get out of the country or go back to your country, something along those lines. She turned it in. It got a ton of media play. And then, as per norm, a couple days later, it came out that, yeah, she wrote it herself. Oh, she made that up too. Oh. So it's not racism. See, they're not happy enough with some people who are racist. They have to make it up so everybody's racist. The thing is I don't hear about the true racism or racial attacks. I hear about all the false made-up ones. If the racial attacks are so prominent, if this country is so racist, then why aren't there more real racial attacks being reported daily? The fact is there aren't. So it makes you wonder, how racist is this country really? And look, I'm not going to deny the fact that there are racists out there. But I don't think their racism is overt. I think that it's behind closed doors or in secret circles where they, among friends, where they're unhappy. They're racist that way. But they're not stupid enough, most of them, to commit a racist act in public the way the left would like to portray them. But that's what the left is trying to do, and doing time and again. You know, when I was in school, in college, there was a story. This is in the 90s. There was a story about nooses were found. This is a real left-wing school I went to, and the nooses were found hanging, little nooses were found hanging all over the quad one morning. And everybody went crazy. Oh my God, it's racism. It's horrible. And they're condemning it. And the president's speaking out. And they have to have a big investigation and a sensitivity seminar and all this crap. It turns out that it was a black kid who was doing an art project, hung nooses all over the quad in the school, and they found out it was him, and they went, oh, okay, you're fine then, no problem. Wait a second. How can that be okay? But that's the left. They love to create and craft a narrative. They still think that slavery exists in their minds. They still do. Well, LeBron James said that NFL players are slaves, just paid. Like, seriously? Can I be a slave and to be paid like that? Because they're living pretty damn good. I'll take $40 million a year or $5 million a year. I'll take $2 million. I'll take $1 million a year. You can make me a slave? No problem. I'll play some football, travel over the country, get to stay at nice hotels. Cool. Rock and roll. But the thing is, they want to lead that. It's the fear. I talked about this yesterday. It's the fear. Democrats want blacks to be afraid. They want America to still be racist. That was Obama's entire MO. They're saying, you want to bring back this racism, set it back 50 years. You want to go back to the 50s and make America great again when white people were segregated. First off, the ones who were segregating the black people were segregated. The people who were segregating the blacks were Democrats. They were the ones that turned the hoses on people and sick dogs on people in Selma. They were the ones whose Governor Wallace stood in the doorway in Alabama University of Alabama, to stop the school from being segregated, and had to be forced to do so by the National Guard by a white Republican President, Dwight D. Eisenhower. The Democrats are the ones who are the racists, but they want everyone to think that Republicans are racist to cover their own twisted, dirty past. And they have people scared now. They think that the slavery exists now and that we're horrible and this is the way. That's not it, though. Everyone has a fair shake. Everybody can do whatever they want to do. Now they have a new term, institutionalized racism. It's institutionalized. How? You have every opportunity everyone else has to do what you have to do. I mean, there's single parents out there all the time with white kids too. How do their kids succeed? How do other Republican black people, single parents, how do their kids succeed? So why you got to blame it on racism? But that's what they're doing. Again, they keep black Americans, especially the Democrats, scared. That's why Brexit is so huge with Candace Owens. Huge. It's fantastic because she woke up. She was a Democrat, and there are a lot of Democrats who woke up and became conservatives, especially because of Donald Trump, because they realized, hey, you know what? Democrats aren't helping us out. We had 8 years of Obama, and he did nothing. No, what Obama did, he did what they're trying to blame Trump on. And Trump's not trying to do that. He set race relations back 30, 40 years, 50 years. Barack Obama wants racism. Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, the race hustlers, they want division because that's how they keep people separate and listening to their BS to believe in the Democrat Party is going to fix everything. Like they've really helped the black Americans out at all. They've done nothing. Lyndon B. Johnson did the Great Society. The Great Society, which what did it do? It threw money at the problem, which is all Democrats do. Throw money at the problem. What does it do? It's not spent properly. Corrupt politicians take the money, and all they did was put people on welfare, make them live in the projects. Inner cities are still horrible. Why aren't they any better? Democrats should have fixed that a long time ago. They had 8 years of Obama. Why didn't they do anything about it? Because they don't care. As long as they can keep black Americans suffering, they can use them and scare them for votes. But this is where we are. So that's the Jussie Smollett update. It's made up. They're still investigating, but come on, the writing's on the wall. It's made up. It's a lie, and it doesn't surprise me. We pretty much had a feeling it was going to be a lie anyway. Just the numbers weren't adding up right from the beginning. In other news, something that popped across the internet today, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the special education congressperson, representative. Special Alex has tweeted out, Bloomberg News tweeted it, and then she, I guess, is being co-sponsored with Joaquin Castro out of Texas, another racist. Just in, AOC, this is from Bloomberg, AOC plans to introduce a bill with Joaquin Castro to stop President Trump's planned emergency declaration. So they're passing a bill, or introducing a bill, to stop President Trump from making an emergency declaration. Well, first off, Congress voted on that back in 76, 78. They voted on the National Emergency Act, which allows the president to do what he's doing. That's number one. So they're going to try to pass a bill, okay, to stop that. Right, so you pass a bill, gets through Congress, has to get voted on by the Senate, which is controlled by Republicans, many of whom were saying that he should pass the declare a state of emergency. And then how does a bill become a law? Let me think. Voted on by the House, voted on by the Senate. Oh, the president has to sign the bill. So, hey, Special Lexi, what do you think's going to happen if that bill crosses President Trump's desk? You think he's really dumb enough? You might be. But do you think he's really dumb enough to sign a bill that stops him from doing what he wants to do? Now, of course, you can override the veto. You can veto it. They can override the veto. But you need, what, 2/3? You're not going to get 2/3 because you still don't have the House or the Senate. This is just posturing. This is a mentally incapable person who is trying to act like an adult, and she's basically acting like a child. She can't win. She doesn't know what to do. She knows, and Democrats know that they're going to lose, but she's doing this to make it look like she's doing something and hope that her constituents who were dumb enough to elect her in the first place actually say, there you go, she's going to stop him. Guys, President Trump has to sign that for it to become a law. Oh, yeah, exactly. So, whatever. It's funny to watch them flail. Donald Trump has them backpedaling left and right, and he called them out in the press conference today. It was fantastic. He said, we're going to do this. I'm going to enact this. They're going to challenge it in court. They're going to find some judge in the Ninth Circuit that's going to come out there and say that we can't do it. And then we're going to take it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court's probably going to rule in our favor because they did the same with the travel ban, and that was approved also by the Supreme Court because it's national security and what's in my purview. He called them out on it. He pretty much illustrated exactly what they were going to do. You know, Donald Trump up there telling the left, telling the media, and telling America what the left was going to do is equivalent to when Eminem went on stage during the rap battle at 8 Mile and spits everything about himself negative that his opponent was going to say about him anyway, leaving his opponent speechless when it came his turn because he already called him out. Trump told them what they're going to do. I know you're going to take it to court, and we're going to fight it, and we're going to probably win, and there we go. They're just flailing. These are career, Special Lexi's not a career politician, but you have career politicians who are being outmatched by a civilian. by a regular person. It's hysterical. It's glorious to watch. But I just like watching the tales of AOC because she is just so dumb. I mean, I have never seen a dumber person. Seriously, I've never seen a dumber person in an elected office in my life. And I've watched intently Maxine Waters. She's just crazy. She's just an old, insane broad. But Special X, woo, she's a whole different level of stupid. So, that's where we stand today, folks. Jussie Smollett's probably making it all up, clearly. And Alexandria Alexandria Special Ed Cortez, oh, I actually like that better. Alexandria Special Ed Cortez is trying to stop President Trump by passing a bill that he's going to need to sign to become a wall to stop himself. That's it. Congratulations, New York. You elected her. Oh, and thank you to New York before I leave. New York, hey, good work, because Special Lexi over there, she was very excited that she got Amazon. Amazon decided not to go to New York in her district to build their new plant. She was excited about that. She said, they lose at $3 billion in tax credits. I'm like, you're not getting that money back there, Lexi. You're not getting $3 billion. That's just a tax credit that they would have received, so they wouldn't have to pay as many taxes. But what you did succeed in doing in your district is stopping about 25,000 jobs to your voters. So, congratulations. You did a great job. And this is our show for today. I'm Brett Hightower, New Independence Network. Thank you for listening. Have yourself a great day.